So, ladies and gentlemen, again, we are here. We are the live stream for the cure. We are the Epic Film Guys, and we are raising money for a future immune to cancer, ladies and gentlemen. And we are 86.9% of the way toward our goal. Justin, you realize we've got like 15 hours of programming today, and we're already raised more money than we did last year.
I know, it's insane, man.
It's
like
insane.
when I woke up and saw that number, I literally couldn't believe it. It just goes to show.
I can't believe the unbelievable generosity of our amazing podcast partners.
Yes.
I also wanted to give a drum roll here because we are giving away a bag of carnivore candy that I was dropping in the chat during the last segment. So let's roll that drum and let's see who won that bag of carnivore candy. Deb Kinney. Deb Kinney, congratulations. You are going to win a bag of carnivore candy. Deb, I have either the Insanity or I have the Creeping Reaper. I will let you choose. You let me know over in the chat. Hi, Danielle.
That's my wife popping in, saying hello. You are on the live stream for the cure right now, darling. She's lifting weights behind me, trying not to look buff.
It's too late. She looks good. She looks like she's really working hard. I was taking winners to the gun show yesterday during the karaoke segment.
Bro, why don't you flex more often? Look at those biceps, dude.
But let's say we had Moxie in here. We're going to get now David from Me, My Demon, and I into the live stream for the cure. We're running a little bit behind today, so I'm going to try to catch up here. So there we go. I believe we are now live with David from Me, My Demon, and I. David, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Thank you.
Beautiful. Welcome to the live stream for the cure. And just take a moment. We've been doing this with every guest, so why not keep doing it, I guess? Tell us, take a moment, please, and give us a little taste of what To Me, My Demon, and I is all about.
So, Me, My Demon, and I is a comedy horror fiction. We're an original audio drama. We follow Johnny, who's pretty much been down on his luck throughout his entire life, and then one day he wakes up possessed by a demon. The only problem is the demon doesn't really know what he's doing, so both of them go on all kinds of fun misadventures.
Let's see here. So I'm bouncing all over the place. Alrighty. And what exactly do you have planned for us here for Livestream for the Cure today?
So I wanted to do 3 different things. One, talk about podcasting and audio dramas as a medium, the challenges and benefits and the fun stuff and how it relates to like comic books to where you can do what the character's thinking inside of their head. References we've used in the show are like Miscongeniality, the whole "you think I'm pretty." We did the Lilo and Stitch apology with our own version. We've referenced Aliens. We had our own knockoff Scooby-Doo with Conundrum Conglomerated. And we poke fun at things like Christianity, religion, capitalism. We make fun of, well, not really make fun of, but we talk about how horrible, like, things like going to the emergency room is. Because, you know, having a medical benefits is always nice, but not everybody can afford them. Also, forgive me because I just had to do a little thing and I'm bleeding. So if I'm just dabbing myself. Cat and dog got into a fight and I had to break that up because I heard screaming. So I had to run outside like quite literally 5 minutes before all of this.
Oh my.
Yeah, so that was fun. Also, I wanted to start this stream out right by doing something for everybody real quick.
By kicking Justin from the chat? All right, I'll get him out of here.
He's pretty
Doing your
right.
shenanigans.
Go. And processing.
There we go. $50 donation. And it's your birthday. Happy birthday.
It is my birthday.
We better get, ladies and gentlemen, some happy birthdays over in the chat. In fact, why don't you make it a hashtag happy birthday and you will be entered to win some EFG swag. How about that? Some EFG swag. Hashtag happy birthday. Get it over there. Loy Sauce, you're not allowed to win.
Loy Sauce is always trying to get more.
What a jerk. Yeah, Gerald, you're not allowed to win either. Oh, my. Man, that is amazing. That is absolutely amazing. So, so, I mean, in audio dramas, especially in podcasting, is something that I'm always fascinated by. I'm always fascinated to learn about all the work that goes into creating audio dramas and whatnot. We had Alan and Rob from Parapsychology and Interrupted Tales on yesterday. They were talking a lot about, you know, all the work that goes into the process on their side. I'm always fascinated about it. So yeah, I'd be thrilled to hear more about that side of it, because it's fascinating to me listening back to an audio drama, especially just in podcast form. Like, and because I edit the podcast like that we do, when I hear those sound effects, I hear voices, and then I hear talking, and then I hear music, and then I hear this, and then I hear that. All those layers, it's like
everything.
Somebody had to plug all those things into a program at a very specific point to make it all work. So
yeah, the most fun about it is like I use Reaper and I can color code everything, so I can see, okay, this person doing this person's doing this, I need a sound effect here, and I'll put markers. But I think the biggest problem is footsteps never really sound like actual footsteps. Like it's never just right. Like you hear it and something sounds off, especially with cadence and everything else between this guy's 6 foot tall and walking, and this woman is 5 foot tall and walking. So there's going to be a different cadence. So you have to space everything differently. You have to do all of your sound effects and everything else. And then you have to make sure that all of it syncs up correctly. So I'll listen to something 10, 15 times and move it back and forth and be like, okay. And then I give it to Faye, which is our lead writer, and she plays Bila on the show. And then I let her listen to it. And once she's done that and done her walkthrough, I'll go back, re-edit, and then we'll put it out and finalize. But for audio dramas, I think it's a lot like comics, without the visual aspect, of course. But you can have a character talking, and then how comics like Deadpool, he has multiple voices inside of his head talking at different things. And you can do that in an audio drama. You can put, okay, well, this voice sounds like this voice sounds like this. For our show, I have the demon vet. He's inside Johnny's head, and I put a reverb on him to make it sound like Johnny's head is a hollow, just for added effect and make things even more fun.
Yeah.
But comic books has always been a big thing for me. It's how I learned to read. Like I started with Calvin and Hobbes, went with Batman, the X-Men, the old 1994 X-Men that they reproduced the covers so many times that they became worthless.
Yeah, I've got a few of those.
yeah. I think everybody has at least like one copy if you're a collector. Like you have the old one, like the Superman in the black or the white plastic from Death of Superman. Yeah, but
I did want to give a quick shout out here really quickly to Moxie LaBouche again for the amazing segment in the last hour. Thank you very, very much, Moxie. But also a donation of $18 and a bonus fact that it's a lucky number in the Jewish faith. So gifts are given in units of 18. Thank you very much, Moxie. Still giving us facts even with the donation. And I mean, she's just amazing. Please, please, please make sure you go to yourbrainonfacts.com and make sure you get her book when it comes out on June 17th.
I'll definitely be picking that up. Moxie's just wonderful. And I love listening to her podcast. I love her. Her voice is just so great.
I know. I think the whole chat, like for 10 minutes in the chat, everybody was just listing off all the different things they'd like Moxie to read.
Oh, yeah. I saw the vacuum cleaner manual on there.
Yeah, that was mine.
It's true, though. She has such a soothing and calm voice that it's just perfect. So, speaking of voices, if you were going to bring a comic book to an audio drama, what would you do? Because we've had things like Marvel's just come out on Stitcher. Which comic would you want to bring to life? Black Widow, Red Ledger with The Winter Soldier just came out. Which would you do? Either of you.
What do you think, Justin?
Well, if I had my pick, honestly, I have to go back to one of my favorite comic series that I used to read a lot back in the late 90s, which is Spawn. I think that such distinct different types of characters and the mystery aspect. And looking back at the old HBO animated series, I loved the voice work in that. So for some reason, that immediately comes to mind as one that I'd love to hear.
I love John Leguizamo in the movie. just because he's a great actor anyway.
Oh, he's so great. I mean,
him
the poor
being
guy
the
was
clown
down.
was just perfect.
Yeah, he did that whole performance on his knees, so you got to give him props for that.
Yeah, I was still wondering why they didn't cast like Danny DeVito for something like that, but it's understandable. John Leguizamo did great, so
He's so good at that movie. I love him so much.
oh yeah. Yeah, Danny DeVito, like as Penguin, he did such a great job.
Yes,
because he pulled that creepy off so well. So like whenever it was Leguizamo for Spawn, I was like, but also I was a kid, so whatever.
Yeah, and they had him under like 10 pounds of makeup and prosthetics and a fat suit and everything.
Yeah,
Spawny, he's all man.
Yeah, just the insanity of it all. Like, and so the other fun thing, who would you cast for the voices if you were going to have a Spawn audio drama? Because there's a lot of really good ones.
That's a really difficult question.
I'm
usually not good on the spot with questions like that because I usually take at least, whenever I do anything, I always do like at least an hour worth of research on it. So
you know what I think would be cool? I think it'd be cool if you could get them, granted, but you get Mahershala Ali.
No, this is fantasy casting. Doesn't matter. Money's no
Mahershala
option.
Ali. That's what I want to see. Mahershala Ali.
Actually, Nick, after recently watching season 3 of True Detective, I 100% agree with that. He's got a gruffness and a real deep, like it's almost like super menacing vibe to his voice in that show. It's like you never know if he's going to snap or not. That's almost a pitch perfect choice.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree. If I was going to fan cast something, I would really love to, like, I love the Frank Miller Dark Knight series.
Yep.
Yeah. Dark Knight Returns, Strikes Again, and then Master Race. And I am not a fan of Superman because he's just OP. Like, let's give him a new power. But in the third one, and this is spoilers for anybody who hasn't read it and is going to, Bruce comes to the realization that Clark has been letting him kick his ass the whole time. And he's like, all these years, you were just toying with me. You let me win all this time. And it was such a great realization to have because we're human. We couldn't stop somebody like him. He can literally flick us and we're dead. Our head would explode. But that realization in the comic, because Batman's kicked his butt through the first two and even some of the third, but that realization was just a great thing to me. That, and I just really love the first one with the mutants and how he's beating them in the mud hole. And he's like, this isn't a mud hole. This is an operating table. And I'm the surgeon.
I was actually a really huge fan of Peter Weller's voicing on the animated adaptation for the Dark Knight Returns series.
He had that such gruff and grumbly voice. And even whenever it was still Bruce, it was very, very slight change. And it wasn't even much of one. And it was wonderful to me because he's now this angry old man, but he gets back into it.
That's exactly what Peter Weller is too.
Yeah, that's what makes him so perfect.
But I hated that. I hated the animation style in the animated version. I could not. It's too fluid to me, if that makes sense. I don't know. It was just weird.
It does. I was more a fan of the comic.
Yeah, I love the story. The story is great. It was just like watching it like on screen. It was just like.
Yeah, that's been one of the problems that DC's had with their
weird art
adaptations
and all that stuff.
Of their classic comics. I mean, you're so used to that art style on the page, and it doesn't always translate.
Yeah,
it really doesn't. And that's the other thing I like about audio drama is there's a lot of stuff taken away whenever you transfer to film. Like they don't do the aside what he's thinking inside of his head, how he's analyzing the situation, and you don't get all of that. So I've been a fan of audio dramas forever. Like want to go real old school with The Shadow, Flash Gordon,
dude,
and all the fun stuff.
Amazing.
Yeah, all the really old stuff. And like I finally wrote a script years and years ago, and I was like, this isn't any good. And then I was cast on another thing, and I was like, I can do better than this. Okay, hold on. So I put it out there, and we got started in October, and here we are now. Yeah, we're just started season 2. Episode 3 comes out Monday, and I need to finish editing on that. But fan casting for insanity like this is always just fun because somebody somewhere is going to listen to something, and maybe it will happen. And yes, I agree. The Shadow is definitely underrated. But yeah, old Flash Gordon, old Shadow, the Blue Beetle, which nobody really knows outside of DC. So, like, there's so much you can do with all of it, and it makes it more fun. But yeah, the transfer of like, if Marvel keeps this up, I'll be very, very happy with how they're doing all their audio dramas. Wolverine: The Long Night and The Lost Trail were really good to me. I just listened up Marvels from Alex Ross, and Alex Ross's artwork is always just freaking beautiful and glorious, and I love it.
Anytime I see it, I used to back in my Bachelor days, I had a few Alex Ross, obviously large,
So
like the
good.
Justice League one, a couple of
yeah.
the Batman posters on my wall. I've got a huge Batman collection, but you just can't deny. I mean, like, there's no other style like that for those characters.
Yeah, there really isn't. And Batman Scars by Alex Ross is probably one of my favorite things, where you can see all of the war wounds whenever he takes the cowl off. And it's just such a beautiful painting because Selena Kyle is sitting there staring at him like, oh my God. And he's just like, what? This is what happens when you fight crime for like 30, 40 years. You gain a lot of scars.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't he do the artwork where it's from behind his back shot?
It's his back and everything else. And like he had the cowl hanging up on the mirror and you could see all the scars across his back. And
I know they attempted to, I know they attempted
all of it.
During the Dark Knight, I know they tried to like capture that same type. It didn't work though. And when he took it's like, no, you need a lot more scars and bumps and bruises than that. But
yeah, they used for Batman vs Superman. They used a lot of the Dark Knight Returns from Frank Miller in that, like shot for shot. Some of the things that were happening in there, like, was taken directly from the comics. And I was like, I know this. Wait a minute, I know this. Okay, this is this scene, and it made me kind of angry because it's a different story, and they were setting up for Doomsday and stuff like that in Batman vs Superman, and the comic is more of a Joker story.
Yeah, I think when it comes to that movie, we're very known as being avid defenders of it in some way, shape, or form. However, I totally understand that viewpoint, and I still always go back to, a lot of fans always say, well, I want to see the Long Halloween in the upcoming Matt Reeves' The Batman. I want to see this comic. I want to see that comic. And for me, as a fan, I always say first, I just want to see a good script. I don't care if it can take slight elements from those great stories, but I don't want to see them try to adapt a full comic into a movie. Personally, that's just me. Elements are great, but make your own story. Make something original. That's what I want to see on the big screen. I can read the comic if I want to read the comic.
Yeah, give me a combination of Batman Black and White and Blackman Noir and stuff like that. Give me the Gotham by Gaslight. Give me something with those elements. Give me a detective story where Batman punches people sometimes.
Sounds like that's what we're probably going to get with that movie. Hopefully. That's, when you say it's going to be a noir, I have full faith in Matt Reeves. Regardless of some of the comments that Pattinson has said lately, I'm like, no, please don't let me down. But, gotta have faith.
Like, I haven't been a fan of Pattinson until I saw like The Lighthouse.
Yes, there it is.
I had no faith in Pattinson as Batman or Bruce Wayne. I was like, really? That's who they cast? And then I saw The Lighthouse and I was like, oh, he is a good actor. He just got shit roles. Got it. Okay.
Yep. And I like to explain this. Anytime anyone brings up the Twilight movies, I said, look at any popular or actor that you would consider iconic. Look at their career. There's always going to be that one stinker role or a couple of bad movies that float around. Don't allow that to represent who they are as an actor. And I mean, for me, Good Time, Pattinson killed it in that performance, and in The Lighthouse, he absolutely destroyed it. And that was the one that really solidified it for me.
Yeah, no, him and Willem Dafoe. I love Willem Dafoe just because he has that perfect creepiness to him. So him and Willem Dafoe in that movie did really, really great. And that gave me a little bit more faith in the new Batman movie because he's going to be in it. And in my brain, he's proven himself to actually like do well. So I have a little bit more faith in him now. But like, I always just made fun of him because of Twilight. And thank you everybody for your happy birthdays. And also, yes, it is Kate from Ignorance Was Bliss's birthday too. Her and I share a birthday. We've actually
happy birthday.
This. Yeah. So she's in the chat right now. Thank you, Kate. I know you can hear me. Yeah, she said she was going to pop on and see me. But yeah, she was supposed to be slotted for Moxie's spot, but she didn't want Derek to have to get up at 7 a.m. because he's on the West Coast. Yeah, so she was being nice to him.
Switched to later this afternoon, I believe.
Yeah, the 5 p.m. slot.
5 p.m. That is correct.
Yeah. and I'll be popping in and watching her on that. But yeah, also reminder to everybody that's watching: donate to cancer research. It's for a good cause. I even donated $50 at the beginning of the stream, so
we appreciate
donate.
that very much. Thank you so much.
Not a problem. If I was going to be on here, I was going to donate. Like, that was going to be it. Like, I had already put that in my brain that I wanted to do something for it. Oh, I see Chris. Hi, Chris. Thank you. Atomic Chris is from the Atomic Library, another audio drama. And theirs is about pretty much government workers in the apocalypse that work at a library. And wonderful show. Definitely go listen to it. I'll plug every show I can on here just because audio dramas are hard to find.
Yeah, this is what it's all about, man. It's all about, raising money to fight for a cure, and also, let people know about podcasts they may not be aware of, spread the love. That's what it's all about.
So other friends of ours, Pomegranates Pitchforks, Alex and Sunshine do a wonderful job. They do true crime, horror, stuff like that. The Atomic Library, which I just named, Ignorance is Bliss, of course, by Kate. She'll be on later. Guys, go watch her at 5 o'clock. From our own cast, Scary Stories and Modern Minds from Caroline Minks. This Planet Needs a Name. They're wonderful, wonderful people. Great, great story and everything else. The Cast Junkie server. If I could shout out anybody, I would love to shout out the Cast Junkie server. Top of the Round. There's so many people on there. Sarah Ray Werner from Girl in Space. She's on the Cast Junkie server, so if you ever wanted to talk to her, she's awesome.
I've actually met her.
Friendly.
Yeah. I met her at the DC Podfest at an after party. She was awesome.
Nice. Yeah, no, she's such a friendly person, just so wonderful too. Husk, Expectivera, Morton Lee, Oz9 crew, they're just so great, and they're all so friendly. And I got to be on their season finale because they needed somebody to hum for them. And, well, I have a setup and a mic, so why not?
Yeah, definitely. Why not? Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, there's just so many great audio dramas out there. Like, our cast alone Caroline has, I think, 4 or 5 going on right now. And I just like being in random things and doing voices because it's a lot of fun. A friend of mine, I got the motivation from him because he works over at Funimation. And do you watch My Hero Academia or any anime?
I'm not the biggest anime guy. Our resident anime expert would be Go Loisos Go. He's in the chat. So Loisos is not in here. He'd probably be able to spout off at the mouth all these different titles to you.
So Mirio is played by Rico Fajardo, and he's wonderful, wonderful, wonderful guy, super friendly, just like Sarah Ray Warner. But he voices Mirio. Rico has always just been such a friendly person, and he's always super helpful. But he's in so many things, and really, to get into voice acting, all you need to do is just get a good mic. Like, I'm using a Blue Yeti right now. And just get a good set of headphones. And all you really need is your laptop and, Audacity, which is free. So,
except for Mac users such as myself, we used it for our show for the last 3 years. And then one day I went to go, use it for a recording. And it's like, nope, you can't use it anymore. Not optimized for your computer. And they haven't come up with an updated version yet. So it's been a pain. So sad. Yeah. Nick was so used to editing with that, our tracks through that and everything. And
yeah. Audacity is it's the beginning thing for I guess just Windows users now, but Audacity is just really easy to use. I learned how to do everything from YouTube. I learned how to edit on Reaper, edit on Audacity, add sound effects, and that's how I started doing audio dramas. I found freesound.com, and yeah, you can just do Creative Commons zeros and just pull all the sound effects you want. You can just type stuff in and download it and then add it in. But yeah, audio dramas are just great to me. It's always just been so much fun making them. It's so much fun writing them. For Me, My Demon, and I, for season 1, 95% of the show was written by Faye. She plays Bila and everything else. She's our resident succubus, one of them. And she's written most of the show. And I came up with a prologue. Ooh. Audacity just had a big update on the Mac. But yeah, Faye writes the show. She's one of the
you might have just saved my life there.
Yeah. Yeah. Somebody threw a lifeline. Perfect. But Faye wrote the show. I wrote the prologue, and she just ran with it. And she's been writing episodes for us. And now we even have our two main characters, Johnny and Vet, which are played by Adam and Victor. And they're in on writing it now, so it's even great. It's even better because we have input from the actual characters, so they're writing themselves pretty much. And that makes it a lot more fun because they know their characters, so we trust them to write their characters. And of course, we still review everything beforehand, but they haven't started us wrong yet.
You remember the first time you knew you were interested in audio dramas? Because we come from a generation where that wasn't necessarily something we grew up with, where when I was growing up, my grandmother would tell me about how she would sit on a Saturday night and listen to The Shadow. Because when The Shadow film came out with Alec Baldwin, she was like, I used to listen to The Shadow. And I was like, listen to it. What are you talking about? And then she actually told me about it. And then we found some vintage, pulpy magazines of The Shadow. I got really deep into that. But for you, since it's kind of a new thing, a new art, in a way.
So for me, I have my dad to thank for that, because he would tell me they still did radio shows when he was a kid, and he found old ones on cassette. And yeah, today's my 37th birthday. I was born in the 80s.
Oh, dude, we're the same age.
He found it on cassette, and I wore out the 3 Shadow cassettes that we had and the 2 Flash Gordon cassettes that we had. I played them on my old mini boombox, the old Ghetto Blaster that I had, and I wore them out. It was just they're unplayable now, but they look pretty because it has the original pop art, the pulp art on them. That original, he has the hat on and the red scarf. And
scarf, yeah.
Yeah. And he has that cloak just pulled over.
I love it so much.
That's how I got started with it. I've always had a love for it, but there's that huge gap from when I was a kid until probably about 10 years ago now, that audio dramas just really weren't a thing. And then I found out about Welcome to Night Vale, and I was like, oh, this is really cool. And then that started the rabbit hole for everything. And then I was like, I want to do voice acting. And that started another rabbit hole. And then I got on cast, and I was like, I want to do my own. So here we are now.
I was going to say that
audio
the closest thing.
Too much fun.
Oh, dude, definitely. The closest thing that I can think of as a kid was when my mom got me a tape, a reading of the Batman '89, which is my favorite movie. Adaptation, the novelization by Roddy McDowell. He reads it, and I remember that was the first time I experienced a story being read to me on tape. And then they used to have those little comic books that would come with the tape. I don't remember. I know DC had
the records.
Yeah,
they had the records too.
Yeah, because I remember I had a few of those still in my collection, and that was kind of the beginning of the idea of that to me. Because, like I said, going back to it, I listened to a lot of radio, but growing up, it was always sports radio because my dad was super huge into it. So there was nobody sitting around my household listening to stories,
Yeah, they had. I remember because a few of the comic book shops around here, I live over in Houston, so there's huge shops, but you can still find some of the old vinyl with the comics, like He-Man, the Incredible Hulk, the Amazing Spider-Man, Superman, the Justice League, the Super Friends. All of these are still on vinyl, and you can still pick them up for a nominal price. But
of course, yes,
yeah. There was a low print Superman one, and it was going for $300 something, and I was like, I'm not that rich.
No, I'm not either. And even for vinyl, believe me, not to go off on a tangent, because I've got lots of friends that are super into it. I'm huge into music and everything, but I'm I already collect movies. I already collect toys, masks, all kinds of random junk. My wife's not going to be like, yeah, here's an extra space in our place for a bunch of old records. I do own a few, but it's just, you can only collect so much stuff, really.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's not too much that you can just collect overall. Or you're going to have to buy a bigger house then, because yeah,
that's already on
vinyl
the way.
Alone, it gets crazy.
Most definitely. Most of my stuff is actually because I moved down to Virginia 5 years ago. I used to live where Nick lives, and most of my collection is still in my in-laws' basement in boxes and giant Tupperware. So the idea of collecting anything more is almost impossible at this point.
At least it's somewhere safe. So. Lately, since they're coming out with more and more, I've been collecting Funko Pops, but I've been stopping myself because
So you're a Funko guy. Okay, so how many do you have?
I only have 22. I don't have a lot because, okay, they came out with Pokemon. That's my childhood. I had to get the first Pikachu from the Target exclusive, and I got the other 3 starters. So I have Bulbasaur, I have Charmander, I have Squirtle, and I have the original Pikachu. I have Elvira because that was my crush growing up whenever I was a little boy, because most little boys that grew up in the 80s had a crush on Elvira.
I am a huge Elvira fan, so I'm 100% with you on that.
Yeah, I have the Hot Topic exclusive where she's laying down on the chair, and then I have the regular one where she has her hand on her hip. And I saw the chase one that they had, which it's her in the red dress, and I was like, don't have $400 for that. So yeah, but I get the things that I know I like so I don't play like competitive shooters or anything else, but Diva from Overwatch is from South Korea, and that's where I was born. Like, I'm half South Korean and everything else. So I was like, you know what? I'll pick one up. So I picked up a Diva. I have Orko from He-Man. I have Vault Boy. I have Alex Louise Armstrong from Full Metal Alchemist. I have a lot of anime ones. I have Bane from the Batman the Animated Series, and I have the original costume Nightwing, the yellow and blue and everything else. So yeah, I had to grab all of those.
So what you would consider not a lot, I would consider a lot. I literally have one. I told myself, because I collect NECA stuff, NECA figures. I'm really into the highly detailed stuff. I'm like, that's literally enough. So I knew that if I started getting into Funkos, then I'd be lost. I'd be totally lost. It wouldn't, because they literally have, I'm like, oh, they have Saved by the Bell. Oh, they have Miami Vice is coming. What's coming? There's always something new coming. And I'm like, I can't do this. I told myself it's not even, I'll get kicked out. It's going to happen.
You gotta stop. Big Trouble in Little China. That's, oh God. Don't get me started on 80s movies.
Our very own Voice Sauce was wearing his Jack Burton tank top yesterday when he came on to talk top 5 horror sequels with Gerald of Two Piece. Thanks for everyone that tuned into that last night.
That's awesome.
Yes, 80s movies is my fave.
I saw the Swayze face earlier.
Do you know the story behind the Swayze face?
No, he had it up on the stream. I saw. Yeah. Oh no, it might have been one of the older ones, but I saw the Swayze face. And funny thing about that is, Swayze he took dance over at the college. It's like 15 minutes away from where I was. Like, they have pictures of him in the room and everything else. I was like, oh, that's really cool. So Swayze was dancing where I'm from.
I made that for Nick. I'm sure he doesn't care that I'm going to mention it, but I made it for his bachelor party a few years ago. The idea was, because I knew how much he loathed Patrick Swayze and how much I loved Patrick Swayze, that he'd have to, anywhere we went, he'd have to hold up that in front of his face. And he's kept it all these years later. So, I mean, it's very near and dear to my heart. It warms my heart to see him still. I thought he was going to burn it. I literally thought he was going to burn it or break it or something. I
also heard that Nick's favorite movie is the 1980s Transformers movie.
Oh, yeah. He loves it. He loves the animation style. He loves the voice acting in that. I mean, it looks like Nick got the Invisible Man suit over there. He's got that new technology. Nick, talk to us, man. I know you're sitting there. I can see you. Someone needs to pour red paint all over you.
Yep.
But actually, recently, due to COVID, you can't really do all that much. And my wife and I have been taking like road trips to random places just to see them. And I saw the Movies That Made Us series. I'm not sure if you've watched that or not. Same producers that did the Toys That Made Us series.
Oh, okay.
I thought that was fantastic. And they did a whole episode on Dirty Dancing. And then I realized the Dirty Dancing campground, the resort, is only 4 hours from where I live in Virginia. So we took a trip out there actually recently, and I stood on the cinder block that Patrick Swayze himself stood on when he lifted Jennifer Grey out of the water. It was fun. There was like nobody there. I had to call and get permission for us to tour the grounds. But on the subject of 80s movies and Patrick Swayze, I don't even think I talked about that on the show. Probably because if I did, Nick probably edited it out. Like, he doesn't want to hear any Swayze talk on the show.
Perfect. We're live. Do it. Oh man, there's so many like really bad, good 80s movies, especially with Swayze. Roadhouse is one of my favorites just because the whole line, everybody plays nice until I stop playing nice.
Time to not be nice.
Just roundhouse kicking everybody in the face. And it's looking at it, especially from like the martial arts action movies we have today, like it's over the top for everything. Like every 80s fight scene is, and it's great. I love it for that, because kicking somebody in the face and then having them do a complete like cartwheel flip and then hit the ground, yeah, that doesn't really happen.
It really doesn't. It's funny because we were actually just talking about that last week in our canon quarantine episode about Death Wish 3. I said the way these stunt guys are selling these deaths, that's what I miss in movies today. I don't care if it's realistic. I miss when like henchmen would fly 10 feet in there just from getting punched once. You know, I love that overselling nature. Maybe it's from my love of growing up of wrestling. I don't know. But I love that.
Like, oh man. The 80s wrestlers were better to me just because they were more over the top and they had more character and more person. The Ultimate Warrior was always my favorite. Hulk Hogan, just because they're the big guys. They're the ones who had that deep voice and they would sit there and go off and they would beat each other to hell.
Yeah, they were larger than life. I was actually throwing shade on the Ultimate Warrior recently because when I was a kid, I remember I went to the Warrior World Tour when he came back.
Hell yeah.
And I was all about it. But when you're a kid, you look at wrestling totally different. When you look at it now, you're like, wow, he's not really that good in the ring. He kind of does the same thing every time.
Yeah.
He's got that persona, that charisma, and he's got that physique. He was just such a huge dude. And when you have the face paint, you know, as a kid, you're just looking at it like a superhero. That's what he was the equivalent of, I think. So 100%. I'm a huge 90s guy, personally.
Yeah. Like 80s is where I grew up. Like that's where I learned, like, one of my first memories was watching Reagan on TV. So
I actually saw him in person. My mom claims that when I was like 3 or 4 or something, he was at the local airport and we drove up to see him. I don't obviously remember that, but apparently I've seen Ronald Reagan in person. So
that's freaking awesome. But yeah. So there's a really fun thing that I believe it's Super Eye Patch Wolf did about wrestling and how wrestling is really just anime. But live action. You have power-ups, you have super moves, you have people doing high-flying stunts, you have people battling it out in a ring. And like, if you've ever watched anime, there's usually a tournament arc if you're watching like a shonen. So that's pretty much all wrestling is. It's just one big anime. And after I heard that, like I got into wrestling again because it's all one long story and how they play everything out is really fun because you can translate that to writing. Like, okay, that's how they did this character arc. So maybe I can plan something like that or add things from that into this into the show. Well, one of the shows. But it's really, really fun. Yeah, see? Yeah. Goilo Sosco says wrestling is definitely one long
and this is coming from someone that we've been basically verbally battering with wrestling information lately because I said the lack of new movies to talk about for our Patreon segments. Me and Nick, because we've known each other for a long time and we've both known that we grew up watching wrestling, but we don't talk about it. We're not a wrestling podcast, but it just kind of just slipped out. Now we've been talking about it, and Loisos was born in 1993 and doesn't care about wrestling, so he just has to sit there and listen to us talk about it. So it's funny to see him pop in and say wrestling definitely is one long anime since he's such an expert.
Yeah, see? But yeah, like it really is. It's just different character arcs. Like one of the Hardy brothers, I don't remember which one because I just briefly looked at it, but one of them got arrested on TV because he was
Jeff?
He was either I think it was Jeff because Matt's on like NXT and stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah. Like he got arrested and he had a like history of substance abuse before, but now he's clean. So they're adding it into without jeopardizing it, like they did, unlike what they did to Razor Ramon back in the like late 90s, early 2000s, because he was an actual alcoholic and he was
he was bad. Oh my god.
Yeah.
One of the times I saw him live,
no, just go. It's okay. It's okay. And they just made fun of him. And after he got clean, like it was a lot better, of course. But I'm glad that they aren't pushing that now. They're like, no, people have to be clean. You have to be safe. You have to be safe or you can't wrestle. Instead of like, no, just down the bottle of McCormick and let's go.
Just tape up that your bloody leg there.
Yeah.
Put a brace over your busted knee and get out there.
Yeah. Or like, I'll make a few people cringe that remember this. Sid Vicious, his last match, when he jumped and then you saw the leg just.
Oh yeah. I remember that. Now that you mention it, yeah.
Yeah. Like that was one of the, oh God, because I got to watch that on live TV and I was just like, that you can't fake that. Oh my God, you can't fake that.
Yeah, it's crazy. I recently, I'm not sure if you've been following the series, and I know we're jumping all over the place, but we're just having fun. We're just having a blast, so it doesn't really matter.
That's why I'm here. I'm here to have fun with it.
If you've been watching the Dark Side of the Ring series at all.
A little bit of it. I pop in every now and then on YouTube. I'll pick it up because I don't have conventional TV because...
I don't either, yeah.
Screw conglomerates like that.
I agree, yeah. But I was going to say, the most recent episode was on Owen Hart, and I didn't know how you felt about him as a wrestler and how that all went down. And it always interested me. It fascinated me because, we'd already seen lots of wrestlers zip line into the ring beforehand. And it was just this one instance where it wasn't done properly and he just dropped like a rock into the ring.
Yeah. I know which one you're talking about now. That incident. But there's few things that you can't. Okay, you can fake the hits, you can fake the kicks, you can fake the slaps and stuff like that. Some of them are real because you can hear that slap on there, but they're trained to take it in different ways because doing theater, like you learn how to. But the one thing you can't fake is a fall. You can't fake going through that table. You can't fake jumping off of the steel cage onto somebody. There are safer ways to do it, but dropping 17 feet is still dropping 17 feet in the air. And that hurts. Ooh, thanks for donating. I only caught the end of it.
Yeah,
but wrestling is always fun.
It's been a fascinating series. Anyone out there listening now that is interested in it at all, like even the slightest bit, I think it's just been a really deep, dive into the wrestling world. And for me, the behind the scenes has always been the most interesting. Especially, I'll watch matches now. I've tried to watch modern wrestling on numerous occasions. There's just something about it that doesn't click for me, which I'm having a hard time with. I want to like it. I want to like the new characters. I want to like the new style and everything, but there's something about it that just doesn't feel. It's not my cup of tea, I guess. Definitely a Hobstermania.
Woo! It doesn't have that same star power. Like the characters,
that's part of it. Yeah,
yeah. It's the presence. Like when you saw Hulk Hogan came out, he was this giant hulking brute. Like he was gonna get in there and he was gonna get it done. And he was gonna slam the bad guy, and everybody was gonna cheer. Same thing with the Ultimate Warrior. Like all these guys, they had that charisma and that presence. Like a lot of wrestlers do have that presence now, but there's not that same that persona, that flair to it all.
Yeah,
that they had like back in the 80s and 90s whenever it was like getting real big. And
they were mythic
the
too, I
WWF
think.
Was a thing.
Yeah, they had a mythic quality to them without, social media. If you saw one of them walking around after a match like I did a couple times, it was truly exciting. Now, every one of these wrestlers has an Instagram account or a Twitter.
Yeah.
They're oversaturated in a way, which kind of takes away from the star power they may or may not have. I mean, it helps them, I think, in the long run with a brand. But as far as making them have that mythic, like if Twitter was back then, do you think Hulk Hogan would have had it? That's a question I always ask people. No, you want this to be this larger than life personality to be kind of hidden a little bit. So when you do see him, it's more special, and a lot of these guys they have as their main eventers. You see them wrestling every week. Whereas like back then, like a Warrior or a Hulk Hogan or a Ric Flair, they, that's a back pocket choice. You pull them out and it's a surprise and it's a big deal when they would wrestle.
Yeah. Like social media has definitely put yes, Otis doing the worm is great. Otis is always just funny and I want to hug him, but I also want to hug like everybody. So social media ruins a lot of things because now you're seeing behind the scenes. Now you're seeing there's none of that mystery. Like when The Undertaker first debuted.
Oh my God.
Yes.
So amazing.
There's none of that mystery anymore because now like you see like his life, you get to see behind the scenes and stuff like that. But when he came out and I was freaking like tiny, like I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, we're the same exact age.
Gloves.
So I remember that moment. And I remember being a kid when I saw my first Monday Night Raw and he wrestled. I was scared when it went pitch black and his music played. I was legitimately frightened, like, oh my God, what's going to happen here? You know, he had this aura about him, and that lasted up until I think even until he did like the American Badass routine. But that's something you wouldn't be able to do now at all.
Yeah, you can't do it because there's behind the scenes for everything. People are sharing on social media. The wrestlers are sharing on social media. All the mystery is gone from it because everybody's sharing everything. While I love like seeing behind the scenes stuff because, you know, making an audio drama, I can see, oh, wait, they did this.
Right.
Oh, maybe I should do that. And it's just, you can take little things from all of it. But as like a fan, it's a lot different. Because you're like, oh, okay, this is a character. This isn't a person. There is no longer the grandiose, larger than life Undertaker. There is, oh, it's the Undertaker. Cool, he's coming out.
Yeah. 100%. And we're still sitting here talking about, see, Nick would be loving this. I don't know. And I don't know where he is or what he's doing. I hope he's okay. I hope he didn't eat too much carnivore candy over there, which thankfully donated so much jerky to this event. So many people are going to be walking away, getting in the mail, I should say, with some amazing jerky. I don't know if I'll get to taste
I've been drinking
it.
moonshine this entire time, so.
Moonshine. Oh my God. That's what our good friend Drew Hallam was. Now, okay.
Apple pie. It's not the hardcore.
Okay. Cause I don't know anything about moonshine. The only time I ever drank moonshine was when I was at my buddy's house and he went out in the car and he said, let's drink moonshine. And I only took a couple sips. It tasted amazing. And then I couldn't walk, like literally couldn't walk. So homemade moonshine, but I don't, what is it? I don't even know what it even tastes like, to be honest with you.
So I get Firefly or Old Smoky. You can pick it up at most like liquor stores. Really, really good. Really, really tasty. It's 60 proof. So it's not that bad. And also it's my birthday. So fuck it. I do what I want.
100%, dude. This is your day. You get to do whatever you want.
Yeah. So I figured I'd have fun on stream, drink a little bit because I drink maybe like 5 times a year. So it's my birthday. I'll drink. Oh, hey, we have Nick back.
Oh my God, he has returned. Our buddy Drew Hallam
has
in
come
the chat
back.
Here. Old Smoky is delicious. Drew's been drinking a shot of moonshine every time we hit another $1,000 goal. Drew is the man.
I mean, if we can make it to the next $200, I'll just take a huge swig of this.
We're almost there, ladies and gentlemen. We're at 88% of our goal of 36 hours to go on the live stream for The Cure. Thank you so much, everybody, for hanging out with us this morning. And
definitely. Thank you, everybody.
And listening to me and Dave just kind of talk about random stuff that we want to talk about.
Everything, because it's fun. And I enjoy comics. I enjoy wrestling. I love audio dramas. That's why I made one. But it's live stream for The Cure. Come on, people, donate. You know you want to. Even I donated.
And a big thank you to Mr. Scott LeVar for his donation earlier in the segment. $50 bills.
Oh, yes. Somebody matched me.
The Flash, you beautiful, beautiful
Mr.
man.
LeVar. Poor guy.
Thank you, everyone. I know I haven't been paying too much attention to the stream, just the chat. I've been watching and rambling on with Justin about wrestling, and
you missed the wrestling talk, Nick.
I don't like wrestling. We've never talked about it before, ever.
Oh, you also missed, Nick, we were talking about your favorite movie, the 80s Transformers cartoon.
Jesus Christ.
I did some research and saw that you love that so much, so we had a 10-second thing about that.
Rather get my testicles smashed with a hammer. Oh.
I figured I'd have to bring it up sometime when you were on the stream.
God damn it. Oh. Major Dumperoo says, can I hop in and have a shot of Skull at the next 1,000? Yeah, you can come in with Drew Hallam and have a shot of his moonshine. So yeah, once we hit 9,000.
Yes, Doctor. Yeah, Old Smoky is delicious. Firefly is delicious. I always get the apple pie one because I just love apple pie. The flavor is really good. Some of them you can get like with like apple chunks and like cherry chunks and stuff like that. Like definitely recommend just because it's tasty.
Oh,
but yes, donate because I've got 10 minutes left. Donate.
And ladies and gentlemen,
I'm
actually going to throw a prize up for grabs right now until the end of the hour. So I want some hashtag We Love David. Hashtag We Love David. Get it thrown up over there in the chat. And you're going to be entered to win a, let's see, what prizes do I have? Let's give this bad boy away. Let me get this guy in here.
Donate for my birthday. Come on, make it a birthday present
It's
for
also
me.
his birthday.
Donate to cancer research.
But we're going to go ahead. I'm going to give away this guy. This is the program I got when I went to see the road show, the Hateful Eight road show, which was, Tarantino, obviously, but I got to see what in the world is happening. There we go.
Hobster, I am 37.
But yeah, I will go ahead and I will send this out to the winner here. I got this at the 70mm Roadshow when I went to see it in Maryland. So it's a little program booklet filled with little tidbits of information about the production, about the movie, and everything. And it has the centerfold of Kurt Russell's character in the middle. The Hangman.
Nice.
John Ruth.
With the best on-screen mustache of all time.
You hang.
That was really an epic mustache, like so very, very much.
It really, really was. So, yep. Hashtag We Love David. Get it over there in the chat, and you guys are going to be entered to win. And I'm going to give that bad boy away. And we are just about $1,200 from our goal. Smashed last year's total. Definitely. Remember, Justin, the first year we ever did this, we did it for 12 hours. We had a goal of $2,500, and we raised about half of that in that time frame. And now, since then, just the amazing growth of the podcast community, the amazing content creators, collaborators, podcast partners, everybody around us that has turned this into an event where we've raised $8,800 in the past couple of days. It's mind blowing to me.
I think that you guys can hit 12,000 by the end of all of this.
I think
at
so
least.
Too. I hope so.
I think you guys can do it, and it would just be so helpful for the cancer research and everything else. And I'm sure they'd appreciate all of it.
And we
definitely appreciate that enthusiasm and that support.
Oh yeah,
no, we're not stopping it
because last year I got cold feet when we set it up and we did. We did the 7,500, and then when we hit it, I was like, well, I don't know if I push the goal higher. I don't know if we're going to hit it. But nope, that goal is absolutely
push that goal.
Moving forward, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, push that goal. Let's break that little bar that they have above. Definitely. Always shoot for more, especially when it's something like this.
Every single penny goes over to... Steve got in there. Didn't see you there, Steve. Now I got you in there. But it's every single penny goes to a future... #immune to cancer, and I know that that's a world that every single one of us would love to live in.
Oh yeah. So yes, donate. You have 6 minutes till I'm gone. Also, # so you can get the Hateful Eight, because I mean that's a really epic mustache that he has in the movie. So
it is beautiful. It is beautiful.
It is a huge, beautiful handlebar mustache.
Plus, it's a great collectible. Like I said, they gave me for whatever reason I ended up with 2 of them. I thought I had 3 of them, but I only have 2 of them. But I don't know how. But they only had. I think at the theater I went to, they only had the Kurt Russell in the middle. I think they have a different version of it for every single character, though.
Yeah, I have 2 of them. I don't know where they are, but I got 2 of them. The wife and I each got one when we saw the film on 70mm as well, and I don't know where the hell they are, but yes. They're pretty amazing. That's just something you don't get that with movies anymore. Sometimes they'll just throw you like a cheap poster, but this was a really special event, and they gave you this awesome book when you went to go see the movie. It made it really like a really special.
Loisos, did you ever see the Roadshow version in the theater or no? Because the extended version on Netflix, the one that they did that's a miniseries, that is the Roadshow version. So if you really want the good Roadshow effect, watch the first 2 episodes, then listen to like 15 minutes of the score from Morricone, and then watch the other 2.
He says he did see the Roadshow.
Yeah, that's all the extended version on Netflix is. It's the actual Roadshow version, because the normal theatrical version was cut down by like 15 minutes or so.
Something like that, yeah. And you don't get the intermission, obviously. It was the weirdest thing ever to be at the theater and actually get a 15-minute intermission.
It's not extended beyond at least one, because I watched it. I watched the version on Netflix, and no, it's the Roadshow version, because I think the only other time I've seen that movie is I watched the normal version on Netflix when it was just normally released as a movie. But yeah, no, it is the Roadshow version. So like all the stuff that's in the Roadshow version, like the one extended scene of Bob the Mexican, with the chicken, and there's a couple different little bits and bobs like that help flesh out things a little bit more. But yeah, nope, it's the Roadshow version.
That's awesome. I remember I went to Kill Bill. I was living in California, and Quentin Tarantino did a Q&A afterwards at the Egyptian over on Hollywood in LA.
Dude!
Oh God, it was so cool because we were like 2 rows behind, and he refused to shake hands with anybody afterwards. Like, he ran out of the theater right after the interview was done, but he was like 2 rows ahead of me, like 15 feet, and I was like, oh my God, you make such good stuff.
That's pretty amazing.
We got to see Kill Bill with him in the theater, and like, we knew that he was going to be there afterwards, but he just kind of stood up in the front row afterwards and went to the chair to do the interview. We're like, oh shit, he was here the whole time. Son of a bitch.
Knowing how I usually sneak around to try to get autographs and pictures with celebrities, I probably would have been waiting out in the back door the entire time. Dude,
that probably would have been the best thing. Yeah.
That's honestly that's the way that I've met half the people I've met, is just stand by the back door. They have to come out eventually.
I had enough friends that worked in they do like teardowns and like building like all the stage lights, sound, and everything else over here in Houston. So like, I got to meet UFC fighters. I got to meet some famous people. Just randomly, I'm like, hey, when does this person do this thing? Like, meet me at this door at like this time, and like I get to sneak in, wear like their shirt and stuff like that, and be like, okay, cool. And then I go like shake hands, like, oh my God, you're freaking awesome. I met Forrest Griffin in passing. I was like, oh hey, you're tall.
That's awesome.
So, all right, David, we're just going to take a couple moments here, and I'm going to draw the winner of the Hateful Eight program. Just let our audience know where they can find Me, My Demon, and I out there on the web.
You can find us on anchor.fm/Me, My Demon, and I, or pretty much just search Me, My Demon, and I for any podcast, iTunes, Google. We're even on iHeartRadio now, and we're trying to get on Pandora. But you can find us anywhere. Just search Me, My Demon, and I.
All right, and let me go ahead and roll those drums, baby. The winner of the Hateful Eight program is Atomic Chrissa, who posted earlier here. I love you, David. So, Atomic Chrissa, if you're listening, could you please email your mailing address to livestreamforthecure@gmail.com. And I'll post it over in the chat. Here we go.
Awesome. I'm sure she didn't know that. She actually collects movies too. So.
Go ahead, and that's not the right email address, Nick, you idiot. I typed in live for the cure. Like, what? That's not a thing. But yeah. What the hell? I can't type today. Unless I'm typing suck it, Paul. Then I can type, apparently.
I mean, sometimes you just have to tell somebody to suck it.
But yeah, that's just email your mailing address information over to there, and I will make sure I get that program out to you. Paul, you know I love you, brother. David, thank you so much. Please check out Me, My Demon, and I. And we will bid you a fond farewell, my friend. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, guys. And thank everybody in the chat. I'll see you all later.
Thank you very, very much.
Thanks a lot, man.
Not a problem. See you later, guys.